Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a small log cabin in Kentucky. His family was poor. They lived on a farm and worked hard. When Abraham was a little boy, he helped with chores like chopping wood and carrying water. He did not have many toys or books. Abraham did not go to school very often. In total, he had less than 1 year of school in his whole life. The schools were far away, and he had to help at home. But Abraham loved to learn. He read every book he could find. He borrowed books from neighbors. He read them again and again. He read the Bible, books about George Washington, and books about law. He also practiced writing and math. Sometimes he used a piece of charcoal to write on a wooden board when he did not have paper. People said he would walk for miles just to borrow a book. He taught himself by reading, listening, and asking questions. This is how he got his education. When Abraham grew older, he moved with his family to Indiana and later to Illinois. He worked many jobs. He was a farm worker, rail splitter, store clerk, and postmaster. People liked him because he was honest and kind. That is why some people called him Honest Abe. In 1831, he moved to New Salem, Illinois. There he began to think about doing something more. He joined a group called the militia during a short war, but he did not see any fighting. After that, he tried running for office, but he lost the first time. He kept trying. In 1834, Abraham Lincoln was elected to the Illinois state legislature. That means he helped make laws for the state. He was part of the Whig Party. He met other leaders and learned how government worked. He decided he wanted to become a lawyer. In those days, you didn't need to go to law school to become a lawyer. You could study on your own. So Abraham read law books. He borrowed them from friends and studied hard. He passed a test and became a lawyer in 1836. He moved to the town of Springfield, Illinois. There he opened a law office. He worked with different partners over the years. One of his most well-known law partners was William Herndon. People came to Abraham for help with many problems. He worked on cases about land, business, and even crimes. Lincoln was a very good lawyer. He listened carefully. He used simple words so everyone could understand. He asked good questions in court. He tried to be fair. People trusted him. He traveled all over Illinois to visit different county courts. He often rode on horseback or in a wagon. The roads were rough and the trips were long, but he didn't mind. While working as a lawyer, Lincoln also kept an interest in politics. He served one term in the U.S. House of Representatives in 1847, but after that, he went back to being a lawyer. For a while, he did not think he would go back into politics. Then something happened that changed his mind. In 1854, a new law called the Kansas-Nebraska Act was passed. This law let people in new territories decide if they would have slavery. Lincoln did not agree with this. He believed slavery was wrong. He believed that people should not be owned by other people. He gave speeches about this. In 1858, he ran for the U.S. Senate against a man named Stephen Douglas. The two men had a series of debates. These were called the Lincoln-Douglas debates. Large crowds came to hear them speak. Lincoln spoke clearly. He said slavery should not spread to new places. Douglas thought each state should choose for itself. Lincoln lost the election, but many people had heard of him by then. They remembered his speeches. They liked the way he spoke and the way he stood up for what he believed. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln ran for President of the United States. He was part of the new Republican Party. This party did not want slavery to grow into new states. Lincoln did not say he would end slavery right away, but he said it should not spread. Many people in the South were afraid that if Lincoln became president, he would try to stop slavery everywhere. Even before the election, they began to talk about leaving the United States. In November 1860, Abraham Lincoln won the election. He became the 16th President of the United States. He was the first president from the Republican Party. He did not win any states in the South, but he won enough votes in the North to become president. Before he even took office, Southern states began to leave the country. They said they did not want to be part of a nation where Lincoln was president. They were afraid he would change their way of life. One by one, they started to form their own government. This would soon lead to a terrible war. But at the start of 1861, Abraham Lincoln had not yet fought a war. He had not yet given the Gettysburg Address or signed the Emancipation Proclamation. He was still new to the job. He was a man who had grown up poor, taught himself to read and write, become a lawyer, and now led a nation that was falling apart.